Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to take a second to talk about something that I saw today that really affected me and really impressed the hell out of me. A lot of you might know about the rapper Lil Boosie. And Lil Boosie is very popular, very talented. I know a lot about his music. A couple of my friends really put me on to Boosie, and I really started listening to his old stuff, and I really picked up on a lot of intelligence in his music. Whether he was talking about something uplifting or something ratchet, there was always kind of this brilliance that you see, where you can really tell why so many people love him, why so many people respect him. In fact, the person that put me on to him said that he was kind of like the Tupac of the South. So anyway, you can imagine my surprise a few months later. I read that Boosie got out of jail, and when he got out, he first thing he did that was interesting was I saw that he was following me on Twitter. Now there are some other rappers that follow me, guys like Jasiri X, Mortal Technique, Killer Mike, guys that D1, guys that I know kind of understand where I'm coming from when I critique some of the worst that's going on in hip hop. But I didn't expect Lil Boosie to follow me, and I just thought maybe that was just a coincidence. But then I started listening to some of the things he was saying, and I was so impressed. I mean, the first comment that he made had to do with drinking lean. That purple shit that people drink, that's causing rappers to have seizures. It's causing people to become drug addicts. It's causing black men to just really do things that will continue our oppression, that will continue to make us worse off than we were before. And so, I was kind of impressed. I was like, okay, that's good. I'm glad somebody's saying that, because I could say it, but I'm a 43-year-old professor, and there are some people who somehow think that because you have a PhD that you're no longer a black man, or that because I'm a 43-year-old man, I was never a 23-year-old man, and that I don't understand, XYZ. But guess what? I have relatives that went to prison. I have my best friend got his brains blown out a couple weeks after Tupac got killed. I've seen unemployment. I've seen all the things that go on in the life of a black man. Having a PhD doesn't mean anything. It only means that I'm going to be rejected by white people and black people sometimes if they don't understand who I am. So anyway, my point here was I know that if I said it, some people were going to hear it. Some people were going to get mad about it. Some people were going to love it. Some people were going to hate it. I know last year when I wrote that article and I was very happy to kill Lil Wayne's endorsement deal with Mountain Dew, a lot of people thought that I just hate black men. That I just, oh, you don't want to see that nigga getting money, man. Why you gonna take take money out that man's pocket? Also, I'm like, no, that ain't what it's about. What it's about is you don't need to go around rapping about murdering little babies and shooting old ladies and blowing the brains out of little kids and raping and murdering women. That's crazy. I mean, you got so much range for free expression, so many different ways you can express yourself. I won't say a word. 96% of what a Lil Wayne says or whoever, I'm not going to say a word about it. I might not agree with it, but I do believe artists have the right to have creative expression. But here's the problem. Number one, if a corporation is telling you, no, we don't want you to talk about uplifting stuff. We want you to talk about bitches and hoes and getting money and killing and give black men a blueprint to self-destruction, that's not free speech anymore. That's corporate speech. That's a corporation telling you to basically advertise a lifestyle that is killing young black men in droves. They're sending millions of young black men to prison. And as I always say, when I talk about the new paradigm for black America, wealth, education, family, community, that's what Farrakhan and I were discussing in Chicago. One of the tenets of the new paradigm meaning new paradigms of thought, is that we have an obligation to protect our children from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. That means that, yes, you go to Ferguson, you march, you tell the white man, don't you kill our black men, hands up, don't shoot Mike Brown. But at the same time, when you see a black man that's coming and threatening to kill your children, or selling out, cooning for cash, trying to get a white man's money to come and kill your child, you take his ass out too. Or you let him know, you warn him. Look, I love my children, and I'm not going to let you market something to them that you're now out here marketing to white people. White people are not being affected by this imagery that exists in some parts of hip-hop music. Not all. A lot of hip-hop music is good, it's fine. That's all I listen to. All I listen to is rap every day pretty much. I love hip-hop music. But some of this stuff, you cannot walk away and think that what a rapper says doesn't have an influence on the consumer, on the person that's taking in those messages, on the little black boys that are looking up at these rappers saying, I want to be like him because he got money, he got women, I want to be like him. And those messages do matter. Any marketing study, any psychology study that is in existence will tell you, I'm sorry about this crap that's popping up on my screen. Any psychology study in existence will confirm to you that marketing does work. That's why rappers get paid so much money to wear certain kinds of shoes, to wear certain kinds of clothes, to do certain kinds of things, say certain kinds of things, because corporations know there's a connection. When the rapper says it or when rappers do it, other people start copying that. I know a little girl who's 13 years old she's been molested by her mom's boyfriend, because some of us still think fathers don't matter in the house, even though we know fathers protect children from that kind of thing. And the little girl, poor thing, like she can't even read yet, and she's almost going into high school. But the interesting thing to me though was when 2 Chainz started talking about a thought, THOT, that's that hole over there. She knew instantly what a thought was. She was using that in everyday conversation, everyday dialogue. All that girl ain't nothing but a thought. So the fact is, the point here is this, and D1 gets this. He gets this really clearly. In fact, I did an interview with him, which you should check out. One of the greatest rappers in the country. When rappers talk, people listen. And that gets me back to Lil Boosie. And this is why I'm so proud of this brother. I have so much respect for him. I hope I get to meet him one day, because if I do, I'm going to tell him what I think. And I'm also going to do for him, hopefully, what Minister Farrakhan did for me. He doesn't live too far away from me. When I met Minister Farrakhan, he sat me down. He talked about the things I was doing right, the things I was doing wrong, and he helped me grow and elevate as a black man, as a strong, independent black man. And that's really what we need in our community, a strong, independent black man, and not black men who feel that they have to go beg a white man for money or have to go coon or sell themselves out in order to get ahead. That's not your path to prosperity. That's only a path to become a bigger slave. But the reason I'm so proud of Boosie is because Boosie, I can see him growing. I can see him really trying to become that Tupac-like character in terms of, not even a character, that's a bad word to use, but that Tupac-like figure in his community, where he is giving messages that will do what any of us want to do as human beings, and that is to help and support the people you love and you care about. There is nobody I know in their right mind who can see all the death that goes on in the hood and not want to protect children from that same death, that same trauma. There's nobody I know who's ever seen a relative addicted to drugs, the drugs that were dropped into our neighborhoods by the CIA and whatnot. There's nobody who can see that and want their children to go through that kind of trauma. There's nobody who can go to prison and say, yeah, man, that's the place to be. That's where I want you to go. So why in the hell do we let a damn rapper or let a corporation convince a rapper to tell young black men that this is what's up, that this is cool? Why do we let a company like Epic Records promote an artist like Bobby Shmurda, who is a brilliant young guy, but they pushed him and gave him money to promote gun violence and gun possession? And guess what? Bobby Shmurda's on his way to prison for what? Gun possession. My opinion is that when a corporation filled with these 40, 50, 60-year-old men, some of them white, some of them not, a lot of them are black, who are telling young black men to promote messages, to market messages that lead them down the path of self-destruction, those corporations should be sued and ultimately burned to the ground. You can't let somebody come in there and brainwash your children and destroy them. And the way to get away from that is we have to get away from this idea, and this is what I call the BET concept. The BET idea is if it makes dollars, then it must make sense. Excuse me. I don't care if I got a rapper telling little girls to go out and do ratchet stuff in order to get money from men, or calling women bitches and hoes, or telling black men to carry guns and waste their money and have sex with everything that moves, and basically do all these things that are going to get them locked up, engaging in illegal behavior, staying high and drunk all the time. There's no way you can convince me that a company should be allowed to promote a message like that and say, well, we made money doing it, so it must be okay. The reason they don't care is because their kids aren't the ones that are getting hooked on drugs. Like their kids are not the ones that are getting shot up in the hood. The BET executives, their kids are living out in the suburbs. For them, it's nothing but entertainment. But when you go to the south side of Chicago, where I live, you got a lot of kids who live in neighborhoods where it's easier for a black man to get a gun than it is for him to get a job, or easier for him to get hooked on dope than it is for him to even get to school school every day or to get a good education. So in those neighborhoods, in those situations, those influences that come from these artists who are being elevated by corporations, those influences matter. Those influences affect how he responds to stress and pressure, how he responds to anger, how he responds to conflict, how he responds to all of that. So my thing is this. I think Boosie is a great man. I'm so happy he's saying these things. I would much rather have people hear it from him than to hear it from me. I'm happy to be that father figure or that older brother figure that young people might need. But I feel like Boosie, with him being right there in it, having the power of the microphone, I love the fact that he's actually encouraging the idea of intelligence. And the best thing that he said today in this interview, and I want you to read it, it's on Ball Sports. That's brothersonsports.com. Just look him up. The article's written by John Harris. The best thing that Boosie said was, he said, education is the key to uplifting the black community. Education is the key to uplifting the black community. Education is the key to uplifting the black community. I said that 3 times because you got to say that three times to yourself every minute of the day. Education is what matters, and I'm not talking about just going to school. And Boosie even went further than that. That's what blew my mind. He said going to school is not what's going to give you education. He said black people have to educate ourselves, and that's one of the fundamental tenets of the new paradigm, is that every black child in America must be homeschooled, even if they go to school somewhere else. Because guess what? That white man is not going to teach you everything you need to know to liberate yourself. Malcolm told us a long time ago, no one will ever give you your freedom. It just doesn't happen. No one gives you your freedom. That's like playing in a basketball game and asking the other team to give you enough points to win. They're not going to do that because they want to win the game themselves. They want to maintain their dominance over you. So they might give you a couple points that they can spare, but they're not going to give you enough points to act like you think you can win the game. You have to take that. You have to have the ability to take it. And the way to take it is through knowledge and education. You cannot allow white folks to educate your children entirely. And not to say that they're bad. This ain't no racist thing. This is just a factual thing. Historically proven and documented. I'm not making this up. I'm not being radical. I'm not being a crazy black man. I'm just telling you the truth. The fact is that they're going to teach you their version of history, which is going to be European history. They're going to teach you they're going to indoctrinate you to their way of thinking, which is where they get to decide what's appropriate, what's civilized, what it means to be a successful person. And the problem with that is that when you get to that point where you somehow see your path to success as a black man to mean that that you have to emulate white people, then you're always going to be second best. Why? Because I'll never be as good at being a white man as white men already are. So the best thing I can ever be, if I'm trying to be a white guy, the best thing I can ever be is an inadequate substitute for whiteness. Well, the fact is that your blackness is great within itself. When you talk about education, let me tell you this. The greatest university in the history of the world is called Google.com. Anything you want to know, anything you want to be an expert on is right there on the internet. Google it. There's literally probably a million different free classes you can take on all different kinds of topics. You can watch my videos, hang out with me, sign up for subscribe to this channel, sign up to Your Black World. We're educating people constantly. I'm constantly rolling with professors, and I only roll with professors who care about their people. I don't give a damn if you teach at Harvard. I don't give a damn if you made $1 million. I don't give a damn if you think you're a big shot. If you're not about helping your people, then I'm not about helping you. And so that's where I think we need to go. And I really would love to see rappers really get on board with this. I think that scholars with rappers and preachers and all of us who pretty much do the same job. We all spit on the mic and we talk, whatever our game is, we share that with the world. I think that if all of these guys, all these people from all these different walks of life come together and start sharing a message that is consistently about the love and the upliftment of black people, we really cannot be stopped. And if you want to know why people have worked so hard historically, if you go back to slavery, remember, it was illegal to teach a slave how to read. You didn't want slaves to be educated. Fast forward that. Think about a pimp. A pimp doesn't want a prostitute to be educated. Why? Because education is power. So you fast forward beyond that. Look at professional athletes. Look at entertainers. Look at some of our biggest, most powerful and prominent black people. Many of them are left uneducated deliberately. Why? Because education is power. The last thing they want in sports is another Muhammad Ali. That when Joe Louis came along, they told Joe Louis, You can be a professional fighter, but you can't act like Jack Johnson because Jack Johnson had his own mind. So the same thing is true today. They don't want you to be independent. They want you to be a slave. They want you to be indoctrinated. They want you to be controlled. And the day that we have some rappers and athletes and scholars who get off the plantation and just start showing that love for their people, I just think it's going to be an amazing day in Black America. And I want to help you in every way that I can. So shoot me a message and let me know how I can support you. And as far as Lil Boosie goes, man, keep going, brother. I'm gonna buy your next album. I'm gonna tell everybody else to buy it. I think you're on to something, and I really want to encourage you in every way that I can to just be the best man that you can be. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. I'm out of here. Please take care. God bless. I'm gone. Peace.